What's up, everybody? It's your boy TTG here, back with another video today. And today we are talking about part 2, round 2 of the college football playoff. We already talked about Texas Arizona State, so today, Penn State, Boise State. But first, before you do any of that, listen to this message about subscribing to the channel. Stop what you're doing right now and click the subscribe button. I'm doing a giveaway. If I can hit 1,000 subs before January 1st, I'm giving away a jersey of your choice. You can have this great jersey if it's still for sale. I don't know. But a jersey of your choice to one of my subscribers. Please click the subscribe button. Appreciate you guys. All right, and after you subscribe, you should obviously like the video. I put a little bit of time into these videos. It makes me feel good when I see likes on there. Comment who you think is going to win this matchup. Penn State, Boise State, who you got? And without further ado, let's jump into it. All right, we're breaking down this game. Number 6 seed Penn State versus number 3 seed Boise State. The battle of the states, even though Boise's not a state, kind of confusing, right? They're playing in the VRBO FIESTA Bowl on New Year's Eve, 7:30 p.m. So we do get another game on the Friday, or it's not going to be a Friday, but the night before the other 3 second-round games. Love the format. So, with that being said, Penn State, I'll pop their schedule up here. And as you can see, they're 12-2 with with their losses being to Ohio State and Oregon being in the Big Ten title game. Now, in that game, they did look like a formidable opponent. They did challenge Oregon, which impressed me. I did not expect that. I'll be honest. I thought Oregon was going to roll them. And their win, probably their best win. They don't have a lot of them. Again, much like Indiana, kind of didn't play a lot of competition in the Big Ten. There's competition to be had there. I think they played Illinois, but wins SMU, obviously, last round of the playoff, and they looked good doing it, and Illinois. All right, so they did play Illinois, obviously. Then you have Boise State, their counterpart, their foe for this game, entering the game at 12-1. Now, this 12-1 is not your ordinary 12-1. Their one loss was to Oregon, number 1 team in the country, the only undefeated team left in the country. And their best wins over UNLV in the Mountain West Championship game, which brings me to my point. Neither team has played that stringent of a schedule. Obviously, I think Penn State's schedule is better. No question about it. They're more challenged. Boise State is playing a Mountain West schedule. Not that many good teams out there, although UNLV, pretty good team. So we're going to start this breakdown just like we did the last one. We're going to start with offense, and we are going to start with Penn State on offense. Starting off with their scheme, Penn State runs a pro-style spread offense. And they emphasize controlling the clock, controlling the pace of the game, in the ground game. They do throw it. Drew Eiler's more than capable of throwing it. He can also run it, too. So, pretty dynamic offense, although the stats probably don't point in that direction, in my opinion. So, their primary goals for this game should be to establish the run early, and that'll set up your play action passes and your pass game. They want to create mismatches with their tight ends. Obviously, they have Tyler Warren. We're going to talk more about him in a minute. And protect the quarterback. Allow him to make quick reads and take care of the football and not have to force the ball downfield or force the ball into tight windows or be under pressure and get hurt. All right? Because your backup's in the portal. Actually, your backup's already at Missouri. So some stats for the offense of Penn State this year. As far as points per game, 33.9, 17th in the nation, so not bad. Yards per game, 439.8, 18th in the nation. So top 20 in both the first 2 offensive categories. Interesting because Penn State, when you watch them, I mean, kind of in the SMU game, they kind of dominated, I guess. But throughout the year, I've watched them a couple times, and their offense didn't jump off the tape at me. As always, one of my favorite stats is what do you do on third down when your drive's on the verge of either stalling or continuing. They're 48% on third down, 11th in the country. Pretty good job there. Rush yards per game, 201.2, 16th in the country. I told you they lean on this rush game, and as we're going to talk about in a minute, they've got 2 great backs that they look to lead the backfield in the charge in the rushing game. Pass yards per game, 238.6, 50th in the country. They don't throw the ball a whole lot. They do have a couple of capable receivers of the football. We'll talk about their most important one coming up. So they have a pretty balanced attack, I would say. I would say they look to rush the ball first. Obviously, they're a rush-first offense. And I think that's what James Franklin needs to do in this game as well. I think this is probably what both teams are going to do. So we'll start off with some key players for Penn State on offense. Drew Eiler, obviously the quarterback, is going to be a key player in pretty much all of these breakdowns. That's where your offense starts and ends. If he is playing terrible, offense is probably going to sputter some. You can't turn around and hand the ball off every play. You can hand the ball off a lot, but not every play. It's not going to work at this level. He's been at Penn State for 3 years, and he's already elected to come back for next year. That is a big, I guess, feather in the cap coming into this game. He's not worried about, hey, am I going to clear for the draft? Am I hitting the transfer portal? No, he's going to be back in Happy Valley in State College, Pennsylvania next year with the Nittany Lions. He's a leader in the locker room, obviously. The players love him. He seems like a good kid. As far as the stats go, he completes 68.5% of his throws, so almost 70%. 3,021 yards, passing, 21 touchdowns, 7 picks. You would like to see that pick number come down. I would be more comfortable with it being 4 or 5. Just saying, 2 picks at the end of the world, so 7 picks, not terrible. But you're going to have to take care of the football and from here on out if you want to win a national championship. He also adds 300 yards and 6 touchdowns rushing. So despite Bo, Pramila, whatever that dude's name was, that hit the portal being their primary rushing quarterback, Drew Aller can run too. He's athletic, so don't get it twisted. Number 2 for the Nittany Lions, Nick Singleton. He's one of the 2 backs I'm going to highlight here. Probably the more explosive, the more home run hitter, I guess you could say. 928 yards on the season, 8 touchdowns, 6.4 yards per carry, and he adds 350 yards and 5 touchdowns receiving. He can do everything. He's good out the backfield, got good hands, and he can run. He's a home run hitter, in my opinion. He's very twitchy is what I would say. Number 3, Katron Allen. He's the enforcer running back, I would say. Short yardage running back, power running back. 892 yards on the season, 8 touchdowns, 4.8 yards per carry. Like I said, more of a power runner, but he's a great complement to Nick Singleton. Both of them are going to play. Both of them need to have success for Penn State to be in the best position to win the football game. And then number 4, the do-it-all tight end, my favorite player on Penn State, Tyler Warren. I think he's a 5th-year senior, so he's probably a vocal leader in that locker room as well. 1,095 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns. 200 yards and 8.2 yards per carry rushing and 4 touchdowns, and also a passing touchdown. This kid does it all. And I expect that if this game does tend to be closer, you're going to see him featured a lot. If it's a blowout, you may not. They may not want to show a lot of things on tape this late in the season. I'm sure they have some things they haven't shown on tape all year. But Tyler Warren, that's my guy. That's my favorite player. I just like him because I guess he looks like Tim Riggins. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Friday Night Lights. The TV series, Tim Riggins is what he reminds me of. Wears the same number, kind of built the same. Yeah, so that's why I like him. So now we'll go Boise State offense. And hold on, wait a minute. I think everybody knows who this offense runs through. Yeah, we're going to talk about him in a minute. The Heisman Trophy runner-up. All right, let's talk a little bit about Boise State's offense. It's been a powerhouse. They're 12-1, Mountain West Conference champions. The offense hasn't been the problem at all. I don't think they've run into much problems at all anyway. They have more of a West Coast style offense, I guess. They emphasize short passing and a powerful run game through Ashton Jeanty. Key players, I only got 2 for Boise State because I haven't watched them as much. And when I deep dove into their offense, they have a lot of just role players, I would say. So key players, obviously, number 1, Ashton Jeanty. That's my guy. Love that kid. Good back. Just a dog. He's been the centerpiece of their offense all year long. Nothing's going to change. They're not going to do something totally different in the postseason, I wouldn't think. He's got a crazy year, 2,288 yards rushing, 28 touchdowns. I think he's really close to breaking one of Barry Sanders' records. They're probably going to get that. 7.3 yards per carry. Now, I know what you're thinking. They play in the Mountain West. They don't play anybody. Don't care. This is college football. And if you're averaging 7.3 yards per carry, I think that's impressive, regardless of the competition. Now, is he going to be averaging that in the Big Ten or the SEC? Probably not, but still. Number 2, Maddox Madsen, quarterback. Like I said, on almost all of these breakdowns, the quarterback is going to be one of the key players on offense. That's just how college football works, guys. If you didn't know, in college, pretty much and any level of football, your offense begins and ends with your quarterback. So he touches the ball every play, mostly. I don't know if you guys remember. Was it Malachi Nelson? Is that the name of the quarterback? That transferred from USC, the 5-star can't miss prospect, transferred from USC. I think it was Malachi Nelson. Let me look it up so I don't look like an idiot. Okay, just got a little research done. Was indeed Malachi Nelson. My memory's not what it used to be, but it's not bad. A lot of people were assuming that guy was going to be the starter, 5-star, transferred in from USC. He gets beat out by Maddox Madsen. Now, I don't know. I also didn't look. I should have looked while I was looking him up. Is he in the portal? Malachi Nelson, it would make sense if he transferred again. Anyway, so he's an effective game manager, Madsen, by the way. That's what I'm talking about. Effective game manager. They're not going to ask him to go win the game, but he can. I think he's good. He's a good complement to a run-heavy offense this year. He's been diligent with the football, doesn't turn it over a lot, and yeah, I like him. He's a leader. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the offensive line. At the beginning of the year, they were probably considered a weakness coming into the season, but they've exceeded expectations. They played very well. I mean, the one game where they were actually challenged was against Oregon, and they looked pretty good. So, in my opinion, that Ashton Jeanty has to thank his offensive lineman for having a great year and providing the run lanes for him, although he does break a lot of tackles. All right, so let's jump into some statistics for the year. The Broncos are average 39 points per game and 500 points over the entire season. Pretty good. Pretty similar to what we've seen. Actually, a little better than what we've seen with Penn State, but Penn State's probably playing a little bit better caliber opponent. As far as rushing yards go, they have 3,250 yards rushing and average 250 yards per game. So a little bit more than Penn State. Again, Penn State's playing a little bit better caliber defenses. 42 rushing touchdowns and just dominating on the ground. Okay, in the pass game, they have 2,800 yards passing, so they rush for more than they pass for. So you know what they're looking to do in this game. They average 219 yards through the air, so not quite as good as Penn State. 22 touchdowns, so they have a pretty balanced offensive attack. Much like Penn State, they're pretty balanced. As far as total offense goes, 6,112 yards, 470 yards per game. So pretty dang good. Approximately 30 more yards than what Penn State averages per game. Again, we're not going to get into it. But basically what I'm saying is they're dominating the ball on the ground, or they're dominating the game on the ground through a good offensive line and Ashton Jeanty. And then Maddox Madsen passes good enough where you have to respect it. So that's what I expect their game plan to be in this game. Expect them to feed Jeanty, throw the ball occasionally. All right, moving on. Penn State on defense. And this is a pretty good unit, in my opinion. I think they're a cornerstone of the success of Penn State this year. I think they're a big reason why they're 12-2 and in the college football playoff. Scoring defense, the Nittany Lions have allowed 223 points over 14 games, 15.9 points per game, 6th nationally. Impressive stat there. Impressive stat. Total defense, 285 yards per game. That's impressive. That's impressive. You see that Boise State's averaging almost that in just rushing. Let's talk about some key players on the defense for Penn State. Abdul Carter, my favorite player on this defense. Dude's a dog. He reminds me of Micah Parsons. Is it because he wears 11? Maybe. He's first team All Big Ten. He can rush the passer, and he can fill the run gaps. He can do it all. The kid's just an animal. He's going to be good at the next level as well. Then you have Kobe King, linebacker. He's been great all year. He's a leader. He can tackle really well. Doesn't miss a lot of tackles. Second team All Big Ten. Moving on, we have Jalen Reed, who I'm also a fan of, defensive back. Reed's performance this year in the secondary has earned him second team All Big Ten honors. So we have a lot of All Big Ten guys on this defense, and I expect them to eat. They're a good unit. They really are. I expect them, obviously, I think they're going to load the box and make Maddox Madsen beat them. That would be my game plan, but we'll see if that's their game plan. Isn't their defense coordinator Al Golden? Let me see. Okay, Al Golden is at Notre Dame. I'm an idiot. So Penn State's defense coordinator is named Tom Allen. Okay, anyway. Got confused, guys. Don't shoot me. I'm leaving it in the video. Don't care. Defensive line, obviously led by Carter, has been instrumental in applying pressure and disrupting the pass game. They also are instrumental in filling gaps, squeezing blocks, and allowing the linebackers to go make plays. Bringing up linebackers. Obviously, we talked about Kobe King. He's been a standout. He leads the team in tackles. And he's a vocal leader on and off the field. Secondary's been great, in my opinion. Jalen Reed leads that department. So just an all around good unit, in my opinion. The defense looked great in the first round against SMU. They forced 3 turnovers, obviously all 3 picks, I believe, and they had 3 sacks. So they were wreaking havoc in the backfield. It was a party in the backfield against SMU. Yeah, and that was the season low in points for SMU. An explosive offense. You hold them to 10, pretty impressive. Even though I don't think SMU probably wasn't one of the best 12 teams in the country, their offense is certainly pretty good. I think overall, Penn State defense, great unit, and I can't wait to see how they match up with Ashton Jeanty. Penn State's defense is probably better than Oregon's, in my opinion, but we'll see how they match up. And they had a little bit longer to prepare, a little over a week, so we'll see what happens. Now let's talk about the Broncos defense. They've been all right. Nothing spectacular, I would say, but 21.9 points per game. Not bad, but again, also not as good as Penn State's, and probably a worse conference and a worse schedule. You know what I mean? Yards allowed, they've allowed 361.9 yards per game, so more than Penn State. Still not terrible, but not great, especially according to the the strength of your schedule. They've allowed 1,500 yards rushing, 115 yards per game. That's not bad. 3.6 yards per carry. That's not bad. They've allowed 3,200 yards passing, 246 yards per game. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. And 7.53 yards per attempt. That's not that great. As far as takeaways go, this team is very opportunistic. I will say that. They've got 7 interceptions entering the contest, 14 fumbles, 21 turnovers gained. I don't know what their turnover margin is. I should have looked at that. As far as sacks go, they've got 51 sacks. So in 13 games, you do the math. That's not bad, in my opinion. Decent. Again, we're talking about a team that plays in the Mountain West. We're going to see just how good and how much Boise deserved to be in there. Now, deserve to be in there? Yes, I agree. They deserve to be in there. Did they deserve a first-round bye? Not sure. Are they one of the best 12 teams in the country? We're going to find out. Deserving and best are not equivalent. Now, I'm big on who deserves to be in there, in my opinion. The way the wording and what the committee should be looking for, I think it's deserving right now. Should we change to most best teams? Maybe. All right, let's talk about a little bit about some leaders they have on defense. Ty Bennyfield, 2 interceptions, 63 tackles, and 2 defensive touchdowns. Guys all over the field. That's just how it goes. He's a safety. He's going to lead the secondary. I think he could be a big time playmaker. Arian McCoy, corner, another defensive back. 1 interception, 49 tackles, and a defensive touchdown. Another guy they're going to look to in the secondary to lead that unit. Andrew Simpson, linebacker, 32 tackles, 2 sacks. And he's a guy that can rush the passer. He can rush. Why is that a tongue twister to me? He can rush the passer, and he can tackle in the run game, obviously. Then we got Ahmed Hassanian, defensive end, leads the team in sacks with 8. In those 8 sacks, he has 50 yards lost. So this guy can be a big disruptor, especially in the play action game. If he doesn't bite on the run, he can get after Drew Aller and cause some disruption, because Penn State is obviously an offense that likes to stay on pace. They don't like to get behind the chains, is what I meant. Penn State, that is. On third downs, love this stat always. Third downs, opponents have converted only 38%. Pretty good. So we're matching up with a team that's pretty good on third down in Penn State, and a defense that's pretty good in not allowing conversions. So I think they've been the defense has been opportunistic. I don't think they're the strength of this team. I think the offense is obviously, more importantly, the run game is the strength of this team. So we're going to see how that matches up with the stout defense, and how Boise State will expel the run game of Penn State and be weary of the play action, obviously. Now we're going to break down a little bit of coaching. James Franklin, he's a guy that is known for losing the big games, but his achievements since he's been at Penn State are 2016 Big Ten Championship, 2022 won the Rose Bowl, multiple 10-win seasons, 2016, 2017, 2019, 2022, and 2024. 10-win seasons. I knew this 12-team playoff would be good for Penn State because they're very good at being above average. Doing just enough to stay relevant, but never hardly ever winning the big one. He's 141 at Penn State. 100-41 at Penn State. Not bad. Moving on, his counterpart, Spencer Danielson. First year, I think he's first year, right? 2023 was the interim, sorry. So I guess technically second year as head coach. He's a relatively new and inexperienced coach. He coached at Azusa Pacific University. No idea where that's at. 2013 to 2016. He was a graduate assistant in 2013. So that's literally when he started coaching, 2013. And he's already in 2024 the head coach of Boise State. I think he's done a great job now. He's been at Boise State since 2017. He was a grad assistant there to start off with. He was working with the stand-up defensive lineman. He was promoted to defensive line coach in 2019, and he became the DC in 2021. So a rapid ascension for Spencer Danielson. And I like the guy, I do. His interviews are fun to watch. He's a good, humble, just all-American dude, I feel like, and he's winning. So, I mean, what do you want me to say? His coaching achievements aren't very much because he's only been a head coach for 2 years. But in 2023, they won the Mountain West when he was an interim coach. Program's 5th conference title, and they looked good on offense doing it. In 2024, again, 11-1 record, Mountain West champs, number 10 ranking in the college football playoff, Associated Press, and coaches poll. 14 Broncos earned all Mountain West honors, including Offensive Player of the Year, obviously Ashton Jeanty. So that's a little bit about background on the coaching. Now I'm going to go, like I did last video, I'm going to go position by position and tell you who I think wins where. That was kind of a, I don't know, maybe a riddle. You'll figure it out. Position by position, quarterback, Drew Aller and Maddox Madsen. I'll lean Drew Aller. I think he has more intangibles. I think he also has more just raw skill and athleticism. Give me Drew Aller. I think he can be a sneaky pick for player of the game in this game. I think it all depends on how good Boise State is against the run. All right, running back. Singleton and Allen versus Jeanty. I'm going to take Jeanty just because I like Jeanty. Now, if Singleton and Allen were on Boise State and they had played that kind of competition, they may have similar numbers. I don't know. But the duo of Singleton-Allen, that's no slight at you. I just think Jeanty is far more important in his offense, and I think he's a little bit better quality running back. Pass catchers. Give me Penn State. I say pass catchers because that's going to include your tight ends, and I think Tyler Warren is by far the best pass catcher on either team, and I think the group as a whole for Penn State is just better than Boise. My opinion. Don't kill me, okay? In GTA, of course. O-line, I'm going Penn State. Though Boise has been better than I thought they would this year. The Boise offensive line, no slouch. You have the leading rusher in the country running behind you. Hats off to you. I think as a unit, Penn State has been a little more impressive. All right, defense. I don't think this is that close. I've got Penn State. And I think this is where the game's won for Penn State. I think they can load the box, and I think they're good enough on the back end to play man coverage and man you up. And I don't think there's a receiver on Boise that scares me enough where I would be hesitant to do that. And they're going to make Maddox Madsen and those receivers beat them. That's my guess. Now, if they come out and do something dumb, that's on them. I'm going Penn State, not close on that one. Final game prediction, I'm going Penn State over Boise, 34-17. I think Boise hangs around for a lot of the game. I think the depth and the pure talent on Penn State starts to show in around the fourth quarter, and they kind of run away with it. I think it's close for a lot of the game, though. I think Boise's defense is good enough to keep them in it. We'll see, though. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you had a great Christmas. New Year's right around the corner, so I got to bang these videos out. I got 2 more breakdowns to do, all right? You guys have a blessed day. Let's watch some college football.